How to support a transgender male on their period. A transgender male may feel sad and dysphoric while on his period. As a good friend, family member, or partner, you can offer extra comfort and support when he's feeling low. Part 1. Offering emotional support. 1. Offer him a chance to talk about how he's feeling. He will most likely be feeling dysphoric, as he feels masculine but has to go through a monthly cycle that is considered feminine. This can be traumatic and upsetting to go through. Let him get it off his chest. You don't have to say anything if you don't know what to say. Sometimes just lending him a shoulder to cry on can be enough. 2. Give him a hug. A hug could make his day. Everyone wants to feel loved and supported when they're upset or stressed out. 3. Tell him that his feelings are valid. He may feel like he's being a nuisance, or that he shouldn't feel this way. Tell him you understand, and that he has every right to feel upset and dysphoric. 4. Put yourself in his shoes, if you're not already in his shoes. If you're a boy, how would you feel on your period? If you're a girl, how would you feel if you started to develop facial hair? It's all the same, knowing your gender, but having to put up with characteristics of the opposite gender. 5. Make menstruating sound more masculine. It may sound silly, but it can help him feel supported and validated as a guy. It may also help him cope a little better. Here are some ideas you can mention to him. Underlining the men in the word menstruation. If it says feminine hygiene, black out the word feminine. Have someone else do the shopping if feminine packaging bothers him. This way, the box can be fixed for him, or the supplies can be placed in a gender-neutral box, before he has to see it. Drawing pictures of men on the boxes of hygiene products. Referring to his period with a masculine term, such as Shark Week or menstruation. Using gender-neutral language about menstruation. Remind him that periods are difficult, and he's a tough guy for getting through it. 6. Try sharing positive stories about transgender people, especially trans guys, with him. This can help him feel less alone, and remember that there are lots of other people like him in the world. Try learning about trans people in other parts of the world together. See if there is any media about men being on their periods. This can help normalize periods as something that some men deal with, so he feels like it's less of a girl thing. Tumblr has a tag devoted to guys who menstruate. 7. Help him access the trans community. Talking with other trans people, especially trans guys, can help a lot. Part 2. Offering tangible comforts. 1. Encourage him to dress comfortably. He shouldn't wear anything too constricting, especially around the torso, waist. Sweatpants may be a good choice. 2. Make him some comfort food. Being on your period can make you crave food anyway. With the added misery of dysphoria, he must be starving and not feel like making food to take care of himself. Give him his favorite food, if possible. Maybe something sweet and sugary to release endorphins. 3. Make sure he drinks a lot of water. Being on your period means you're losing more fluid than usual. Encourage him to stay hydrated. 4. Make him warm drinks. Hot chocolate is a good drink to have, if he likes it. Coffee, tea, or another hot drink is also good. Hot drinks will soothe his stomach cramps, and release endorphins to cheer him up a little. 5. Make sure he's warm and comfortable. Heat can help relieve cramps, and being comfortable is good for anyone going through a rough patch. Offer a heating pad if it'll help his cramps. If he wants them, make sure he's got a blanket and a warm drink. 6. Keep him smiling. Lighten his mood when he's down. Be a good friend. Tell jokes. They can be really lousy jokes if you don't know any good ones. Sometimes the bad jokes are best to laugh at. Tell funny stories. Try something like remember the time that I spilt my coffee all over my trousers and it looked like I peed? Part 3. Handling his health. 1. Teach younger trans boys how to manage their period properly. It's important for him to get the facts on caring for himself, from disposing of pads to avoiding toxic shock syndrome. Since most resources about handling menstruation are written for girls, you may need to do some searching, or research it yourself and then explain it to him. Scarlet has a gender-neutral guide to menstruation, which doesn't assume the gender of the reader. 2. Look for products that minimize his dysphoria. For example, Thinks has a brand of period underwear marketed specifically for trans men. Some people like menstrual cups. 3. Get him to stretch and exercise, if he is able. Movement and stretching can help reduce his cramps, because it relaxes the muscles that contract in his abdomen. Clenching, holding, and unclenching the muscles in his torso may help reduce cramping. 4. Take him to a mental health specialist, if needed. Dysphoria can be crushing, and menstruating may make it even worse. Transgender people are at increased risk of depression and suicide, especially the ones who are not supported by their family, friends. If you are seeing warning signs, contact the Trevor Project or Trans Lifeline for transgender-friendly support. 5. Help a closeted trans guy get hormonal birth control. If for some reason he is not able to safely come out, he can begin taking birth control pills daily. These will stop his period. It will usually take a few months for his body to adjust to the hormones. When talking to the doctor, focus on how menstruating harms him, especially at work or school. Does he miss days? Is it painful? Does he suffer from serious mood changes? This emphasizes why it's important for him to get help. Some doctors want a person to take birth control 3 out of 4 weeks, to see if that will fix things. If this is only your option, do it. It will lighten his period. In a few months, once his body has adjusted, come back and talk about any problems. For example, some people get terrible nausea at the beginning of the week when they stop the hormones, and thus need to take these pills all the time. The doctor visit might be very stressful for him. He'll be afraid of the doctor saying no, and it may be necessary to misgender him for his own safety. It's best if someone comes with to help. Afterwards, it may help for him to relax by spending time with a loved one and doing something peaceful, like watching a movie. 6. Help him get a prescription for testosterone. Testosterone will stop his periods, although not immediately. It will also help him transition, and may help him feel more comfortable and content in his own body. In the U.S., Planned Parenthood will prescribe hormones for trans people, even those who lack the resources for a psychological evaluation. Tips. Try and keep him positive. At the end of the day, if all goes well, he will be able to have hormone replacement therapy in the future and his periods will stop. Remind him of the hope for the future. Be aware that he may be snappy, grumpy, or start crying. Don't be alarmed or get angry, but instead just take a deep breath and offer your support. He's going through a rough week. Hormonal birth control pills, when taken daily, not 3 weeks out of every 4, will stop menstruation altogether. Tell the doctor that his periods are devastating, emphasizing how his school-work life is harmed by his periods and the resulting stress. Many doctors will be willing to prescribe hormonal birth control. Suggest that he use public restrooms during lunch. There will be less people, and they'll usually be busy in the hustle and bustle. Some guys cope by making jokes. If he does, you can just smile along with it and laugh if you think it's funny. Warnings. Try not to use the wrong pronouns. This will make dysphoria worse. Don't keep mentioning the fact that he's on his period, as this will draw his attention to it more. Support him subtly where possible. You can get him hot drinks and blankets without mentioning his period. Don't tell him it could be worse or get over it. This is invalidating, and will most likely make him feel much, much worse. It also means that he's unlikely to talk to you about his problems in the future, because he won't trust you to take him seriously.